A carriage carrying two men on a lonely road is suddenly attacked by an earth dragon. A young boy quickly counters the attack and cuts off the hand of the dragon. The dragon becomes angry and tries to attack him, but the boy easily kills the dragon. The men on the carriage are amazed that he easily killed the dragon. He then boasts that it was an easy kill for him. He then introduces himself as Tatsumi and tells them to remember his name, as everyone in the imperial capital will soon know his name, as he is going to make it big there. Yeah, right. The men looks at themselves knowingly. They tells him the capital is not the place of dreams and hopes as he thinks it is, and although it is lively, it is the home to monsters that are worse than the one he just killed. Tatsumi is surprised to hear this. He asks if they mean there are danger beasts in the capital, but the men explains that the heart of the people in the capital are monstrous. Tatsumi smiles. He thanks the men but says he still has to move on and make it to the imperial capital to save his village. Well, guess he will learn the hard way. Getting to the capital, Tatsumi is amazed at everything. He tries to apply for a job in the military, but he is kicked out as he refuses to start as a grunt. The newbie wants to start out as a commanding officer. He sits on the ground wondering what to do when a young lady approaches him. She says it seems like he needs help. She guesses he came all the way from the country dreaming of making it in the city. She explains that anyone living in the city can spot those like him easily. It is always easy to spot outsiders. She then says she knows a quicker way to get government jobs, but he must treat her to lunch first. The young lady sits with Tatsumi at a small restaurant. She drinks a lot while he sits looking at her. After some time, he tells her to tell him how to get the government job, and she says he will need money and connections. She explains that she knows someone in the military that will be willing to help if she grease his palm. Tatsumi brings out a huge bag of money. He says he got it from killing some danger east on his way to the capital. He asks if the money will be enough, and the lady says it is. She then stands and leaves, saying she will be back soon. She also says she hopes he will gain a lot of experience from their meeting. How can he be so dumb to leave that huge amount of money with a total stranger? Tatsumi sits at the restaurant till a waiter comes to him saying they are about to close. He explains that he is waiting for someone, but the waiter who noticed him and the young lady tells him he has been duped. It is kind of foolish that he has still not realized that himself. Tatsumi feels dejected as he is now flat broke. He has no choice but to sleep on the street, but a young lady who is inside a carriage notices him and tells her guards to stop. She approaches him and asks if he would like to spend the night at her house. Tatsumi, who is now suspicious, as he should have been from the start, says he does not have money. The guards introduce the lady as Aria and explains that she always likes to help those that are stranded. Tatsumi then hesitantly agrees to go with them. At Aria's parent house, Tatsumi meets her parents and they welcome him, saying their daughter is fond of bringing strays to their home. He sits with them and explains his business in the capital. Aria's father tells him that the capital is peaceful, and if he joins the military, he will be sent to the border. Tatsumi agrees, which makes Aria's father happy that the young boy is enthusiastic. Aria asks if he came from the village on his own, and he explains that he left his village with his two friends, Seo and Ieyasu, but they got splitted during an attack on their way. Aria's father then promises to put in word for him in search of his friends. The next day, Aria is on a shopping spree. She takes 3 guards and Tatsumi with her, but they still find it hard to carry her bags themselves. This surprises Tatsumi, as the women he knows are not that indecisive about what they wear. One of the guards shows him the imperial palace at a distance. He then explains that the emperor is actually a child, and it is the prime minister that is really controlling from the shadows, which is why the country is so corrupt. He warns Tatsumi to be careful about whatever he says in the capital or he will be beheaded. That is surely strict governance. He then tells him about a group of assassins called the Night Raids that kills upper citizens at night. Late at night, Aria's mother is walking in the passage talking about her hobby and hoping she will be able to write about it in her diary, when she is suddenly beheaded by a strange lady. Tatsumi wakes from his sleep feeling murderous intent. He checks around the house and notices a group he quickly identifies as the Night Raids. He is surprised that they want to attack Aria's family and wonders what he can do to help. He sees as the assassins easily kill the guards, which scares him, but he decides to look for Aria and protect her. One of the assassins is strangling Aria's father. He begs for his life, saying he has a young daughter, but the lady tells him she will soon join him. They plan to kill Aria too. Aria and one of the guards run toward the storehouse to hide. Tatsumi meets them on their way, but before they are able to enter, one of the assassins arrives and she easily kills the guard. She tries to kill Aria, but Tatsumi quickly interferes. The lady tells him he is not her target, but he says he cannot just stand and watch her kill someone innocent. They then start fighting, and the lady that duped Tatsumi, who is also one of the assassins, quickly stops the fight. She then breaks open the door to the storehouse to show Tatsumi that Aria's family is not as innocent as they seem to be. Tatsumi looks into the room and he is extremely shocked. The room is filled with the bodies of different people. The assassins explain that the family lure countryside people and torture them to death. Tatsumi looks up and sees Seo's dead body hanging from a rope. This distraught him, but Arya says she does not know anything about the storehouse. He hears a voice calling his name and turns to see Ieyasu, who is beaten and almost dead. Ieyasu explains that Arya lured her and Seo into the house and drugged them. They woke up in the storehouse and tortured them. Arya then yells that they are all cows and she has the right to treat them anyhow she likes. Tatsumi then stands and kills her with his sword. She surely deserves that. He rushes back to Ieyasu, who soon dies as he has been poisoned. The lady that duped Tatsumi drags him with her, saying he is now one of them. They go to meet the others, which is where we get to know that her name is Leone. Tatsumi sits at the grave of his friends, remembering their promise to earn money in the capital and save their village from poverty. He feels downcasted as he is the only one alive among them. Leone suddenly arrives and asks him if he has decided about joining them or not. He says he does not have any intent of joining, but she still drags him to introduce him to the rest. It seems Leone does not take no for an answer. Leone takes Tatsumi to Shield, who tells him they will have to kill him if he refuses to join them, as he now knows their hideout. He meets Mine next, who says she does not think he is fit to be one of them. They meet Bulat, who is built and very strong. He welcomes Tatsumi warmly. They then meet Lubbock, who seems more interested in seeing when Leone is bathing. Leone takes Tatsumi to meet Akahim, who is sitting alone in the forest and eating the roasted meat of an evil bird she killed. She gives Leone some of the meat but refuses to give Tatsumi, saying he is not one of them yet. Akane tells Leone that the boss is around, and they turn to see the night raid boss, Negenda, sitting at a corner. She asks about Tatsumi and Leone says he has the ability to become one of them. Negenda then tells Akame to gather the others and give her a report. They all gather inside a room, and after listening to their report, Negenda asks Tatsumi if he will like to join them. He asks if he will be dead if he refuses to join, but she tells him that is not the case. She explains that they will have to employ him to work in the workshop as they cannot let him go, but they do not have any intent of killing him. Tatsumi says he came to the capital to make money so he can save his village from poverty. Bulat then tells him that the cause of the nation's poverty and suffering lies in the corrupt hearts, and it will be better to strike the problem at its root. Negenda says Bulat was once an imperial soldier, but when he discovered the empire's corruption, he decided to join the night raid. Negenda and Bulat tells Tatsumi about how their group is a division of the revolutionary army that is against the empire. Their job is to go on covert operations such as intelligence gathering and assassination. Their goal is to reach the prime minister and crush the empire corruption at its source. At least, there seems to be hope for the country. Tatsumi then smiles and says they are fighting for justice, but the others laugh, making fun of him. Leone says no matter their cause, they are still murdering people, and that is not justice. Bulat says they could be captured or killed at any time, and no one will be able to raise a finger. Mine says he is too naive and should not be allowed to join them, but Tatsumi insists on joining. He asks Negenda if he will be earning money. She tells him he will, and this calms Tatsumi as he will be able to send money to his village. Negenda then tells Akium that she will be in charge of training Tatsumi, and she can kill him if he becomes a burden. She then dismisses the meeting. Tatsumi is in the kitchen cooking with Akium. He mumbles about being in the kitchen always, but she reminds him that he is with her. The others comes out and tells them they are going on a mission. This annoys him more as Mine taunts him that being in the kitchen suits him more. After fishing, Akahim and Tatsumi prepare a meal with the fishes they caught and sit with Negenda and Leone to eat. Leone talks about a case about an imperial police called Ogre and an oil merchant called Gamel. Leone explains that their client says Gamel bribes Ogre, who in turn blames innocent people for Gamel's crimes. After much persuasion, they decide that Tatsumi should kill Ogre while Akahim and Leone kill Gamel. Leone takes Tatsumi to Main Street where it will be easier for him to see Ogre. She notices Tatsumi looks confused by Akahim's words that he should not get cocky. She then explains Akahim's story to him. Akahim and her sister were bought by the Empire when they were young, and they were trained to be assassins. Akahim grew up killing for that empire, but later defected to the Revolutionary Army when she sensed that the Empire's true nature, so Tatsumi should try to understand her. Akahim and Leone easily kill Gamel, and they wonder how Tatsumi is faring. Meanwhile, Tatsumi lures Ogre to a dark and lonely area. He then asks him about joining the military, but Ogre tells him to apply at the barracks. Tatsumi attacks Ogre as he turns to leave and strikes him with his sword. Ogre falls, bleeding. Tatsumi thinks he is dead and turns to leave, but Ogre stands and attacks him. They fight for a while before Tatsumi is able to finally kill Ogre. Tatsumi, Akium and Leone report to Negenda about the assassination. Tatsumi later realizes that Akium cares about him as she searches his body for wounds. He promises her to do better and stay alive during missions, and Negenda tells him his next trainer is Mai. The night raid hideout has been found out by another group of assassins. Negenda tells Akium and the others to spread out and make sure they kill them all. Bulat tells Tatsumi to stay close to him as he is not yet used to group battle. He then calls on his imperial relic, Incursio, which is in the shape of an armor. Tatsumi is amazed and tells Bulat the relic is awesome. Akim faces 3 of the intruders. They talk about having fun with her after killing her as they recognize her face from one of the wanted person's posters. Akim kills them all with one strike and says they should have been careful in the enemy's territory. Mine watches from a distance as another intruder runs away. She stands to use her sniper relic, Pumpkin, to kill the man. Another intruder tries to attack her, but Shield kills the man before he gets to Mine. Mine appreciates her as the danger gives her the range she needs. She then easily shoots the intruder who is now far off. Leon hears the sound of Mine relic and wonders how she enjoys using it. She reasons that she prefers her own relic that makes her go beast-like and beat people up easily. Lubbock snares one of the intruders, who is a female, with his relic. The lady cries and begs him to release her, but he kills her, saying he knows someone who died because they fell for a woman's charm. Tatsumi also kills 2 of the intruders, and he watches as Bulat easily kills 3 men at the same time. After the fight, Bulat tells Tatsumi that he has high hopes for him, which makes Tatsumi happy. At night, Tatsumi lies on his bed thinking about the night raid. He feels like he has joined an amazing group. He then remembers his friends, Seo and Ieyasu. He remembers how they were planning to travel to the capital and how they planned to have fun. He then promises to do his best. The next morning, Tatsumi stands looking gloomy. Shield notices him and asks him what the issue is. He complains that he is told to work with Mine, but he has not seen her yet. Shield explains that Mine does not wake up early and she is still probably asleep in her room. She says she will help him wake Mine, but Negenda stops her. Negenda says Tatsumi is Mine's subordinate, so it is his duty to fetch his superior. Tatsumi goes to Mine room and opens the door without knocking. He enters to see Mine in just her underwear. She brings out her relic and shoots, but he quickly dodges. Tatsumi is shocked that she shot him, but she yells, asking him if he does not know how to knock before entering a lady's room. She then continues to shoot at him. Mine takes Tatsumi around the capital, and he reasons that the capital is filled with sad people. He tells Mine about it, and she tells him they live in an empire ruled by fear, so that is their reality. As they continue walking, they come across 2 guys harassing a young girl. They tell them to stop, but the guy says the girl is a refugee, so she has to do whatever they say. Tatsumi scares them with his sword and they run off. Mine then tells the girl she needs to learn how to protect herself and leaves. After going on a shopping spree, Mine and Tatsumi sits at a restaurant drinking, but they soon start arguing as Tatsumi complains that he has not learned anything from Mine. She angrily stomps on him, saying he thinks he knows more than she does, but he later calmly says he only wants to learn. They notice a commotion and go to see. Tatsumi is shocked when they get there and sees that some people are being executed. Mine tells him that the Prime Minister has no qualms about disposing of anyone that opposes him. Meanwhile, in the Imperial Palace, the Emperor sentences the domestic affairs official, Shui, to be drawn and quartered by bulls for speaking against his policies and delaying government affairs. The other officials are shocked, but they dare not utter a word. The young emperor asks the Prime Minister if that is what needs to be done, and he tells him he is truly the wisest of rulers. The Prime Minister has surely brainwashed the young emperor. The night raid has received a new mission. Their target is Ayakal, a distant relation to the Prime Minister. Negenda explains that he uses the Prime Minister's name to kidnap women and beat them to death. She sends them all as she believes it is a vital mission. The assassins get to Ayakal's mansion and hide in the forest waiting for him. Tatsumi is with Mine and he asks her about her imperial relic. Pumpkin, Mine explains that the more trouble its user is in, the more its destructive power. Mine then sets the relic and concentrates so she will be able to kill their target easily. Soon Ayakal arrives with a lot of people walking beside him, but Mine is able to single him out and kill him with one shot. The guards fans out and start searching the killers, but the Night Raiders appears in front of them and starts killing them. On their way to join the others, Mine decides to tell Tatsumi about her past. She explains that she is half foreigner, and this made her have a hard childhood as people were always harassing her and she was never accepted. But her hope is that when the Revolutionary Army succeed, no one will have to go through what she went through. The others has killed the 4 guards of Ayakal, but they do not know where the last one is. Meanwhile, the last guard attacks Tatsumi and Mine. Mine shoots the man, but he easily dodges. Tatsumi then tries to strike him with his sword and they face each other. Soon Tatsumi holds the man and tells Mine to shoot. She asks if he is ready to lose his life for her. Tatsumi says he is not losing his life as he believes she is a master sniper and can easily kill the man without injuring him. Mine then concentrates and kills the man while Tatsumi is holding him. Later at night, a man smiles at Akim wanted poster. He seems happy that there is a relic wielder that is also an assassin in the capital. Some guards notices him and tells him to stop, but he easily kills them. A woman begs for her life as a man holds her after killing her partner. But the man says it is her own fault for walking around so late. She continues to beg him, promising to do anything, and he asks if she will talk with him. She desperately agrees and he asks her how it feels to have her head separated from her body. He then beheads her. Tatsumi is training with Bulat, but he soon gets tired. Bulat tells him he needs to move more efficiently. He then helps him to hold his weapon up while advising him on how he can lose all unnecessary motion. Nejenda meets a guard who is wounded in the forest. He tells her he is the only one that survived and gives a book containing the list of people who have pledged their assistance when the revolt starts. She collects the book from him, promising to take good care of it. The man takes his last breath as she tells him she will make sure the revolution succeeds. The night raid has a new mission, and their target is the infamous serial killer in the capital. Nejenda explains that he prowls at night, beheading anyone who crosses his path, and he has killed a lot of people. Lubbock says it has to be Zank the executioner. Mine explains to Tatsumi that Zank was once a headsman working at the largest prison in the capital. After gaining power, the prime minister sent more and more people to be executed, and after many years of killing, Zank developed a taste for beheading. Zank became unsatisfied with prison execution and started killing indiscriminately. A squad was formed to take him out, but he had already disappeared by then, and he is just showing his face in the capital. Tatsumi says Zank must be very dangerous, so they should rush in and kill him, but Bulat tells him they should stick together as Zank stole an imperial relic they do not know about. Tatsumi asks what imperial relics are, and Nejenda decides to tell him about them. Guess it's high time we all get to know about the relics. Around 1,000 years ago, the founding emperor was thinking about how he can protect the empire forever, but he will still have to die someday. He reasons that weapons and armor can be passed down into the future, so he summoned the best smiths and craftsmen from around the world to create armaments imbued with wisdom. Materials were collected from legendary super-leveled danger beasts. With the power and assets available to him, the emperor produced 48 pieces of equipment that could not be reproduced in the present day, which came to be known as the imperial relics. Each relics possessed vast power, and those that were granted the relics were able to achieve even greater military gains. However, after the Great Civil War 500 years ago, about half of the relics were lost and dispersed throughout the land. Akyum shows Tatsumi the relic with her. The one-time killer, Murasama, Nejenda explains that if the sword breaks a person's skin, it will inject a deadly poison into the wound and there is no antidote. She then talks about Leon's relic. The beast ruler, Lionel, is a belt-shaped relic that transforms the user into a beast and greatly increases their physical abilities. It also enhances their senses such as smell, which helps them to track down their enemies. Nejenda then tells Tatsumi about Mine's relic, the spirit artillery. Pumpkin, a gun-shaped relic powered by the user fighting spirit. The more danger the wielder is in, the more destructive its firepower. Next is Bulat's relic, the demonic armor, Incursio, a relic that provides impregnable defense. It puts the wearer under great stress and kills those it seems unworthy. She moves to Lubbock's relic, the wire of many uses, Crosstail, a relic formed of tough, durable filaments. It can be spread out to detect traps or enemies across a wide area. It can also bind and cut up its victims. Lastly, Shield's relic, the absolute bisector, Extase, a relic shaped like a giant scissors, is capable of cutting through any known material, and it is sturdy enough to be used for defense. Nejenda explains that some relics possess hidden abilities, like the Incursio that can make its user turn invisible for short periods of time. She then says, considering the incredible powers and hidden abilities the relic possesses, there is one thing that has remained true throughout the ages, which is every time a relic has been wielded with the intent to kill, someone had wound up dead. So if two relic wielder fight, one is guaranteed to die. The night raid spread around the capital in search of Zane. Tatsumi is paired with Akyum and they talk about her relic while searching for Zane. Tatsumi feels the urge to use the bathroom and excuses himself, but as he is coming back to Akyum, he sees Seo, who runs away when she sees that he has seen her. Tatsumi is shocked, but he still runs after her. They get to an open area and she stops running. He then hugs her, saying he is happy she is still alive, but Seo is just an Elusite Zank created to trap Tatsumi. The Elusite turns to Zank, which shocks Tatsumi as he quickly steps back. He notices Zank can read his mind and see the relic with him, which is the Imperial relic Spected. One of its 5 abilities is Insight, which helps the user to know their opponent's thoughts. Tatsumi attacks Zank, but he easily deflects all his attacks as he can read his thoughts. He also wounds him. Meanwhile, Akyum is worried as she does not know where Tatsumi is. Tatsumi finally strikes Zank, but it was just a small cut. He then taunts Zank, who is not able to cut off his neck. This angers Zank and he is about to go full out on him, but Akyum arrives and stops him. Zank uses another ability of the Spected, Clearsight, to check if Akyum is hiding any weapon, but he finds out she isn't. Tatsumi tells her about the relic ability to read minds and the two start fighting. Zank dodges all her strikes and Akyum decides to clear her mind so he will not be able to read her thoughts. He then talks about another ability of Spected that allows him to read the future. They continue fighting, but he still dodges her attack and he is even able to cut her a bit. He then uses Elusite on her, making her see her sister. He then rushes towards her to kill her, thinking she will not kill some dear to her. But Akyum strikes him. They continue fighting, but she breaks his sword and then kills him. Tatsumi has a dream about Seo and Ieyasu. They tell him it is time they part ways and they will be going in a different direction from him. He reminds them that they promised to stick together, but they also reminds him that he now have new friends. They bids him farewell, promising to meet again if there is a next life. Tatsumi wakes feeling sad until he notices Shield is sleeping on a chair beside him. She tells him she is now his superior. But he is surprised as Shield is considered airheaded. Lubbock asks Negenda if it is really okay to put Shield in charge of Tatsumi, but she says she believes they will be fine as he seems to get along with older women. Leon quickly says she wants to train him next, which annoys Lubbock as he was driving to say the same thing. Akame arrives and tells them the meals she wants to prepare for the day. The ladies agree with her. Lubbock feels the meals are too heavy, but they ignore him. Shield makes Tatsumi swim. Wearing a heavy armor, she tells him it is part of his training as an assassin, and since she do not have a specific job at the hideout, she can concentrate on training him. He asks why she do not have a job there, and she explains that when she tried to help with any duty, she always end up making too much mistakes. He then asks how she became an assassin, and she tells him she grew up in the imperial capital and she was always taunted while growing up for being clumsy and careless. She says she has only one friend who does not make fun of her no matter how many mistakes she makes. One day, she and her friend were at her place when the former boyfriend of her friend arrived. He was angry that she left him and started attacking her. Shield could not sit back as the man was strangling her friend, so she took a knife to his neck and killed him. She tells Tatsumi that she felt calm for the first time that day. It was later ruled out that she acted in self-defense, but she never saw her friend again. The man friends ambushed her to avenge him, but she kills them all easily. She then realized that the loose screw in her mind made her a talented killer. Tatsumi reasons that everyone in the night raid has a very troublesome past. He tells Shield that he does not think he can be a better assassin, but she tells him not to worry. Negenda calls everyone together and gives Tatsumi the spected relic to wear. He wears it and he is able to read Akime's mind. Mind tells him to try finding out the last ability of the relic as they do not have information about the relic. Tatsumi concentrates and finds out that he can see everyone in their underwear. He seems shocked and the others wonder what he saw. He then suddenly feels weak and Akime quickly removes the relic from him as it is rejecting him. Mine explains that relic rely on first impression and she is sure he was worried about how lame he will look wearing the relic. Negenda gives him a book that explains all the relic the Revolutionary Army has information about. He asks her which one is the most powerful and she tells him she believes the relic that controls ice is the most powerful, and fortunately, the wielder is not in the capital. Negenda says the wielder is subjugating the northern race. She explains that the hero of the northern race, Numaseka, has gathered the army to invade the capital, but as a preemptive measure, the Empire has struck out to invade the north and the wielder of the ice-controlling relic is leading the invasion. Tatsumi suddenly says they should try to gather more relics. Mine asks him why he is suddenly enthusiastic, and he says there is a chance that there is a relic that can resurrect the dead and he will be able to bring his friends back. Violette tells him he can't do that, but he refuses to accept. Akime then reminds him that if it was possible, the founding emperor will still be ruling. She tells him to abandon his fantasy, or it will become a weakness to him. Late at night, Tatsumi is sitting at his friend's grave when Shield comes out to meet him. He tells her he was happy when it seems there was a tiny bit of hope of reviving them. He says he thought he has accepted that they are gone, but he really has not. He starts crying and she hugs him, telling him to cry as much as he wants and she will not tell the others. He thanks her for comforting him, but she reasons that she should be the one comforting him for making her useful. Meanwhile, at the northern side, the wielder of the ice-controlling relic, General Esdeath, has defeated the northern army and their hero. Leon takes Tatsumi around the slum area in the city. She is acknowledged by many people there and she explains that she grew up in those areas. Some men sights her from a distance and yells that she should pay her debt and the money she scammed from them. She turns and runs off. Tatsumi also runs with her. A guard reports to the emperor that 2 generals had defected to the Revolutionary Army. The emperor calms his people that they cannot be defeated. He asks the prime minister for advice and he tells him they should call Esdeath back to the capital as she will easily kill the night raid. Tatsumi gets lost in the slum and he does not know where to find Leon. An Imperial police Suryu notices him and asks him what the issue is. He notices a relic with her and she explains that it is an Imperial relic Hecaton chair, but she calls it Koro. He then tells her he is lost, but he knows the name of where he was before. She drags him, saying she will take him there. As they are going, he asks her if every Imperial police have the same relic, but she says it chooses its user. No one in the higher rank was compatible with the relic, so the lower ranked was tried too, and that is when Koro reacted to her passion for justice, and they became partner. She takes Tatsumi to his destination and bids him farewell. As she is running back to her post, she remembers her mission, which is to kill the night raid for killing her mentor, Captain Ogre. Leon and Tatsumi are on a mission at the capital red light district. She transforms with her relic and carries Tatsumi, saying they should sneak in, but rather, she runs in at fast speed. They stand on a roof and she shows him where some men keep a lot of girls and make them addicted to drugs. This makes Tatsumi angry and they prepare to kill the men. They barge into the room where the men are having a meeting and kill all the guards, saying they are as guilty as their employers. They then kill the men in charge. As they are leaving, Tatsumi asks Leon what will happen to the drug-addled girls. She tells him there is an old, retired doctor in the slums that still has a knack for medicine. She says she will tell him about the girls and have him take a look at them. She says she is only trying to help because she knows one of the girls, but he tells her it does not matter her reason, as she is giving the girls hope. Meanwhile, Mine and Shiel are going back to the hideout after finishing their mission, but they are soon attacked by Suryu, who is holding a wanted poster of Shiel to confirm if she is really the one. She introduces herself to them, and Mine tells her that now that she knows who they are, our options are to either go with them or die, but Suryu says she will be their executioner as her father died in the line of duty fighting villains like them, and she will also make them pay for killing her mentor. Mine shoots Suryu, but Koro protects her with his body, and it immediately heals back. Suryu then shoots at Mine and Shiel, but they dodge the bullets. She then tells Koro to attack them, and Shiel cuts it with her relic, but Koro heals back. Mine reminds her that living relic have a core somewhere in their body, and unless the core is destroyed, they will keep regenerating. Suryu tells Koro to grow arms and pulverize them. Shiel uses her weapon to counter it attacks, and Suryu whistles to alert other Imperial police. Shiel attacks Suryu and Mine faces Koro. Mine continues to shoot Koro at different places to know where its core is, and Shiel attacks Suryu to kill her. Shiel cuts off Suryu's arms, but she has done some body modifications and her arm regrows into guns. Shiel cuts off the guns and Suryu tells Koro to go into berserker mode. Koro grows bigger and stronger and grabs Mine in its arm. It squeezes Mine and almost breaks her bone, but Shiel saves her by cutting off its arm. Suryu takes the opportunity and shoots Shiel with a gun in her mouth. Koro then tears her into two. Mine is shocked, but seeing Shiel dead pumps her energy and she drags her broken arm to fight Suryu, but other Imperial police arrives to stop her. Shiel, who is half in and out of Koro's mouth, awakens and shines the light of her relic, which confuses the police. She tells Mine to get away from the place, happy that she is useful to the end. Corp eats her completely and the light goes off, but Mine has already escaped. The police are concerned about Suryu, whose arms have been cut off, but she laughs wildly as she is happy to defeat the villains. At the night raid hideout, everyone is gloomy as Mine comes back with the news that Shiel is dead. Tatsumi asks Mine who killed Shiel, but she just stands looking blank. Agenda asks him what he wants to do with the information, and he says he obviously wants to avenge her. She tells him if he goes in without a plan, he will only join her. Violette reminds him that he was told before joining that anyone can be executed at any time. Mine makes a silent promise to Suryu to kill her. General Esdeath has gotten back to the capital. The Emperor praises her for doing well in the north and says he has prepared 10,000 gold pieces as her reward. She thanks the Emperor and says she will send it to her men she left in the north. This makes the Prime Minister happy that Esdeath is not interested in authority or politics, and she only lives to fight and conquer the enemy so he can leave her to do as she pleases while he rules the empire from the shadows. Esdeath tells the Emperor that now that she is back at the capital, her task is to find the Night Raid and eliminate them. The Emperor says mere gold will not be enough to reward her when she kills the Night Raid and asks if there is anything she wants. Esdeath then says she will like to fall in love. The Emperor and Prime Minister are shocked by this. The Emperor agrees that she is a grown woman and still not married. He asks if she is interested in the Prime Minister, but she refuses. She tells him she will note down her preference and present it to him. Mine is unable to eat on her own due to her broken arm. Akim sits with her and feeds her, telling her it will get cold. Tatsumi watches them and wonders how Akim is able to stay calm even after Shiel's death. He reasons that he is just understanding how painful their line of work is. Esdeath is walking with the Prime Minister in the Imperial Palace. She tells him it feels strange to her that she will find interest in something other than conflict and slaughter. She confesses that she feels perplexed, but there is nothing she can do about her feelings. He reassures her that it is natural for living beings to be interested in the opposite. She then tells him she intends to take care of the Night Raid first. Esdeath tells her three subordinates, Deidara, Liver and Niao, that she has a new directive for them. They agree to do anything she wants them to as they are her loyal servants. Tatsumi goes to kitchen at night to drink some water. He is surprised as he enters the room to meet Akim carrying some snacks. She explains that they are one of Shiel's favorites, so it is an offering. She says Shiel's name will probably never appear in the Revolutionary Army records as they work from the shadows, so she wants to remember her in every way possible. And although she might have been clumsy, Sheila was the kindest among them. Tatsumi says Akim is amazing as she is still composed even after losing a very close friend, and he guesses she is used to it. The plate of snacks falls from Akim's hand. She drags Tatsumi cloth and with tears in her eyes. She tells him it is true she has seen May lives fall before her, but she just had a close friend taken from her. But she cannot let her emotions interfere with the mission, which is why she acts like she is fine. Tatsumi feels bad as he has never seen Akame be so shaken. He then remembers that she was worried about him during his first mission. He is also moved to tears and suddenly punches himself. Akame is surprised and asks him why he did that. He tells her that is his way of switching gears. He then apologizes to her for being thoughtless and promises her not to die so he will not make her grieve. The next morning, Akame spar with Tatsumi to train him. She tells him to rest after a while, but he insists, saying he will not have the chance to test in a real battle. As he is running towards her to attack, Billet punches him in the face and reminds him that he must be mindful of his surroundings in battle as he never knows where an enemy may be hiding. He then asks him why he is training so hard, and he explains that he has promised Akame that he will always survive. Billet then tells him they should spar together. As death, 3 subordinates attack a man and his daughter traveling to the capital. The daughter, who is a skilled fighter, is easily defeated and they kill her father. They then spread some flyers saying it was the night raid that killed them before leaving. The agenda calls everyone and tells them Esdeath has conquered the north and she is now in the capital. She tells Leon to travel to the capital and observe Esdeath's actions. She then says ever since Esdeath got back, political officials have been turning up dead and the count currently stands at 4 officials and 61 guards. Flyers purported to be from Night Raid has also been left at the crime scene. Tatsumi says it should be evident to the people that they are being framed, but Negenda says the people believe the flyers as the officials killed are strong and influential officials, so the killers must be relic wielders, and she also believes they answer directly to Esdeath. Billet says it is a trap for them. Negenda says the targeted officials are not just among the Empire's brightest. They all oppose the current Prime Minister in hope of improving the government, so they cannot afford to lose more of them. Tatsumi says he does not know much about politics, but they cannot stand by and let them commit crimes under Night Raid's name, and the others agree with him. Negenda then tells them to show the killers what happens to those who falsely assume their name. She says they have narrowed the next target down to 2 possible officials, so Akame and Lubbock will be going as a pair to protect one, while Billet and Tatsumi will also be going as a pair to protect the other. Hiding in a forest close to where the official they are protecting is, Akame and Lubbock keep watch over him and searches for Esdeath's subordinates. Meanwhile, Billet and Tatsumi are on a huge ship, which is where the official they are protecting. Tatsumi feels they are wasting time as the man they are protecting is surrounded by people and cannot be assassinated there. Billet, who is using the invincible ability of his relic, hits Tatsumi and tells him they can never be too careful. Tatsumi agrees and talks about the Incursio. He says it is cool and at the resin they were able to get in the ship easily. Billet agrees, saying it is his partner as it stick with him when he was fighting in the south. He then becomes gloomy as he remembers that it was not enough in the end. He tells Tatsumi about the time he still worked at the Imperial Army. His general was captured by the Prime Minister for refusing to bribe him. He was also set up as a criminal, but before they could get a hold of him, he used the relic to escape. Billet needs to take off the armor as Relic is about to run of energy. Tatsumi reminds him that his face is well known on the posters and tells him to leave the area to him. Soon Tatsumi enters with the official, who is now drinking. He soon hears someone playing the flute and he is surprised to hear that in the ship. Leni is at the capital and following Esdeath around. She becomes frustrated as her senses are telling her Esdeath's apparent vulnerability is a trap, and she can also see the intense murderous intent radiating from her. She then turns and leaves. Esdeath also felt a presence monitoring her. It annoys her that the person did not take the bait of her acting vulnerable, as she has been itching to test some new torture method. Esdeath's subordinates are also on the ship. Niall plays the flute, which makes everyone on the ship lose consciousness. Tatsumi is trying hard to resist the spell, but it makes him very weak. Deidara moves outside and notices that Tatsumi is still awake. He tells him he would have to kill him and throws his sword at him. He explains to Tatsumi that he is trying to gain battle experience so he can become the strongest. They starts fighting and Deidara wounds Tatsumi using an Imperial relic, the twofold cleaver, Belvark, that can be used as a boomerang. He throws it at Tatsumi again and Tatsumi runs towards him so the relic will cut Deidara too, but Billet appears and punches Tatsumi. He asks him what he is thinking as his opponent is clearly anticipating his attack. Deidara asks Billet who he is as the flute music did not also affect him. Billet introduces himself and Deidara also introduces himself. Billet calls on Incursio and wears its armor. This makes Deidara happy that he will gain more experience from Billet, who tells Tatsumi to watch the battle carefully and burn it into his memory. As Billet is about to attack Deidara, Liver and Nio tries to attack him from above, but he easily punches them and slices Deidara into 2. He then faces Tatsumi and tells him that is what he meant when he told him to be mindful of his surroundings. Tatsumi is amazed that Billet is able to do all that within a moment. He tells him he is awesome, and Billet says when he was still a soldier, they used to call him the 100-Man Slayer. Liver interferes and says it is actually 128 people. He then praises Billet for his exceptional fighting skills, but Billet is shocked to see Liver. Violette calls him General Liver, but he says he is no longer a general as he became Esda's servant after she saved him. Tatsumi then remembers Violette last and wonders if Liver is his boss he told him about. Violette says they would have celebrated their reunion with a drink had they ended up on the same side, but as he is now his enemy, he must kill him. Liver agrees and removes his glove to show the relic Esda gave him. The Imperial Relic, Black Marlin with Liver, is created from an organ of an aquatic danger beast that controls water, so the relic allows its wielder to manipulate any liquid within range. Liver then says he is fortunate to face them in their location as they are in the middle of the sea. He then attacks Violette using water, and as Violette is trying to counter the attack, Niao decides to play the flute, but Tatsumi stops him and they start fighting. After dodging attacks for a while, Tatsumi realizes that Niao is much stronger than him. Liver makes the water in the form of a serpent and sends it to attack Violette, and he attacks it head-on, splitting it. Liver smiles, saying he expected that and he will not be able to dodge his next attack now that he is in the air. Liver attacks Violette again using the relic, and it hits him this time. The part of the armor covering Violette's face breaks, but he tells Liver that is not enough to take him out. Liver says he knows that as he understands his strength and determination better than anyone. He then decides to use his greatest technique on Violette. Violette is wounded by the last attack, but he still manages to stand, and he is about to strike Liver with a death blow, but he notices Niao is about to attack him. He strikes him, but Liver takes the chance to escape. Violette sees Tatsumi, who is wounded. He apologizes for not being able to hold Niao off long enough. Liver tries to taunt Violette that he can no longer use his relic as he is very weak, but Violette reminds him that his ears are also bleeding, so he also cannot use his relic. Liver then asks Violette if he is interested in joining Esda's army. He says he can easily rise to her second in command due to his strength. Violette refuses, saying his purpose is to protect the citizens, but he will not be able to do that under Esda. Liver injects himself with a vial to increase his strength, and they continue fighting using swords as they both cannot use their relic. Violette soon cuts Liver, and he then uses a skill he has been hiding, which is the Blades of Blood. He attacks Violette with his blood, and Violette was not able to counter every attack. Liver falls and he is almost dead as he powered the last attack with his life force. Tatsumi rushes to help Violette, who is now very weak. Liver then tells Violette why he decided to join Esda's army. He explains what while he was waiting trial, Esda came to visit him and to let him to join her army. She told him her army is what keeps the Prime Minister in power, so he will do whatever she wants. Liver says that made him idolize her and he will surely kill Violette. Violette then spits out blood, and Liver says the vial he injected himself with did not only strengthen him, it also contains poison and that will surely kill Violette. Liver dies and Violette is getting weaker. Niao comes out saying he is the trump card all along. He then uses his relic, Scream, to increase his body size and strength. Violette can no longer fight, and Tatsumi doubts that he can defeat Niao. Violette then gives Tatsumi Incursio's key, explaining that it is used to call on the armor. Tatsumi is surprised that Violette is giving him his relic. Niao taunts Tatsumi, saying he do not have the strength to use Incursio. Violette then punches Tatsumi and tells him that he should not let the enemy tell him what to do. He reminds him of all his training and says he has the strength to use Incursio. He also reminds him of how he was amazed seeing the armor the first time, so he is compatible with it. Tatsumi then calls on Incursio using the key, and the armor changes form to suit his body. Niao is surprised that the raw form of Incursio is still alive. Incursio was created by purifying raw materials taken from the Tyrant, a dragon-type danger beast that has the strongest life force. The dragon could wander any land and survive in any environment by evolving and adapting itself. Even after being formed into a relic, the dragon flesh is still alive, and Tatsumi burning passion has caused Incursio to evolve once again. Tatsumi faces Niao, and this time, he kills him easily. Violette is happy by how strong Tatsumi is. He says he will even be stronger than him one day and falls dead. Tatsumi rushes to his side, crying out loud. Hiram sits on a huge pile of dead people. She says human bodies are fun as she eats from a bag of snacks. A man comes to her and tells her she has been summoned to an assembly in the capital. He says she is one of the 6 people called and it is to form a new unit. She stands getting ready to go and wondering if she will meet her sister at the capital. Mine runs to the training ground to tell the others she is completely healed and ready for missions. She sees Tatsumi carrying Akin on his back and Lubbock carrying Leon on his back and doing push-ups. Tatsumi explains that he realizes Incursio drains so much physical energy, so he is training his body to be able to wear the armor for an extended period. Mine teases Lubbock that it is not every day she sees him sweat. He says there are only 2 male in the group and that means he is responsible for half the manliness, so he has to work hard. Leon tells him he has done less than half as many push-ups as Tatsumi. Akame says that is to be expected as they are in different weight class. Lainey then angrily punches her. Najenda arrives and tells them she is leaving for the revolutionary headquarters to deliver the relic they took from Ezeth's subordinates. She then says another reason she is going is to request for reinforcement. Tatsumi apologizes for slowing the group down, and Negenda points out that he helped take out 3 key figures in Esdeath's army, and that will mitigate the risk they will face during revolution. He has also helped save the lives of thousands of soldiers that would have died. Leon then says Bulat once told her Tatsumi is still green, but he will get stronger, and if he continues training vigorously, he will surpass even him. Negenda leaves, telling Tatsumi to be proud, to survive and become the person Bulat believed he could be. Esdeath goes to the graves of Deidara, Liver, and Niao. She takes flowers to their graves and says they were weak and it is only natural for the weak to die out. She says the only thing she can do is to avenge their death. As she is leaving the graveyard, she remembers she will be meeting her new relic wielder unit soon. Wave is one of Esdeath's new relic wielder unit. He had served in the Imperial Navy. He believes he is being promoted to become one of her relic wielders unit. He is coming to the capital for the first time and he is doing his best not to look like a hick, but he is carrying a sack of fish, and the people are looking at him weirdly. He notices this but decides to push that aside. He gets to the conference room and prepares himself to make a confidence entrance, but he opens the door to see a man with a weird mask covering his face. He quickly steps back out, thinking he entered the wrong room. He finds out he is at the right place and the man inside is one of his teammates. He then enters gently, sitting on the chair farthest away from the man. Wave becomes uncomfortable as the man stares at him non-stop. Soon Kurom enters the room and he feels relieved. She sits, brings out her bag of snacks and starts eating. He then approaches her to introduce himself, but she says she is not sharing her snacks with him. He realizes she is another freak and sits back. Suryu enters with Cork. She introduces herself to the others and spreads flowers at the entrance to usher Dr. Stylish in. He looks at Wave and tells him he seems to be a country boy, but he will shine in his hands, which shocks Wave. The last wielder enters. He introduces himself as Run, and Wave, who seems to have given up on meeting someone normal in the group, becomes happy that Run seems normal. The man with a mask serves everyone tea and apologizes to Wave, saying he is very shy, which is why he did not talk to him when he entered. He then introduces himself as Balls of the Incineration Squad. Esdeath enters the room wearing a mask. She acts like an intruder and Wave attacks first. She easily punches him away and Run attacks her next. As she dodges his attacks, she tells him he has commendable reflexes. Suryu tries to sneak an attack, but Esdeath catches her and slams her to the ground, saying she was far too conspicuous for someone attempting a sneak attack. Kurom then attacks and breaks the mask with her sword. She says she will not go easy on her even if she is just messing around. As the mask falls off, everyone sees that it is Esdeath and comes to attention. Wave wonders that even their boss is a freak. Esdeath tells her new unit they are meeting the Emperor. Stylish then asks her what their name is and she says Jaegers. Wave and Balls are preparing a meal from the fish he brought for everyone. Suryu asks Esdeath what she does in her free time in the capital. She tells her she hunts, torture, or do research. She then asks about Shield's relic they recently got. Suryu says they have not found someone who is compatible with it, and Esdeath says they should put on a show to help them find a capable wielder. Tatsumi meets with Lubbock in the capital, who shows him their secret base in the capital. They meet Leon in the room and they talk about the Jaegers. Tatsumi asks why Esdeath is feared by everyone, and Lubbock tells him a story that happened some years back. A tribe to the southwest rebelled against the Empire's tyrannical rule, and in response, that Empire dispatched a special force to subjugate them. The tribe had around 10,000 warriors, and the Empire sent out 120 soldiers. It seemed obvious which side would win, but the land was harsh and filled with danger. The soldiers, who were not used to such an environment, soon became overwhelmed. The tribe warriors also attacked them at night. The Empire then dispatched General Negenda and General Esdeath. On their way to the area, Negenda noticed Esdeath looks gloomy and asked her what the issue was. Esdeath said the Prime Minister ordered that they should kill the enemy swiftly with their relics. So what would have been a challenge for them was taken away. They get to a sea and Esdeath used her relic to freeze the entire sea. Negenda is shocked by the power as they crossed over the sea with Esdeath's subordinates. After killing the warriors, Esdeath and her subordinates killed everyone in the tribe except the leaders. She tied them and made them watch as their home was being destroyed. Negenda left angrily. She decided not to stand with the Empire. Tatsumi seems to now understand the type of person Esdeath is. Leon says she is happy she decided not to mess with her on her own. She also says she wonders how many hundred of thousands of kills it took Esdeath to gain that evil aura. Tatsumi is surprised that even Leon seems scared of Esdeath. Lubbock then tells him Esdeath is sponsoring a city-wide martial tournament and the winner gets a cash prize. He says Tatsumi can use the opportunity to earn money to send back to his hometown. The young emperor and the prime minister are having a meal. He asks the prime minister why Esdeath wants to fall in love. The prime minister tells him everyone desires the opposite when they get to a certain age. The emperor says as much as he wants to find the perfect person for her, he doubts if such a person exists. They read the list of the qualities she wants in her partner. The emperor says most men will not even make it past the first requirement. At the tournament, Esdeath is bored by the fighters. She tells Run that she may have been too optimistic about finding a wielder that way. Tatsumi fights a huge man in the final battle. Most people thinks the man will win as he is very huge and strong, but Tatsumi knows he can easily beat him, even without using Incursio. The fight begins and everyone is amazed by how easily he dodges the man's attacks while landing his own. Even Esdeath becomes interested. Tatsumi soon wins the fight, and as everyone is cheering him, he smiles happily. The smile captivates Esdeath and she walks into the ring telling Run that she has found the one. Esdeath gets into the ring and puts a chain around Tatsumi's neck saying he is now hers and she is taking him with her, which shocks everyone. Leon and Lubbock tell Akame and Mine what happened with Tatsumi. They ask Akame what to do as she is the acting boss. Akame seems uncertain and Mine tells her they cannot do anything as stupid as trying to rescue him. Akame then says they need to leave the hideout and move farther away as they do not know if Esdeath will be able to find out that Tatsumi is part of the Night Raid. She then says Tatsumi is an valued comrade and they will do whatever they can to save him. The Jaegers are on their first mission, to destroy a group of bandits and kill them. Tatsumi and Esdeath sit on a high rock and watch them. She tells him he is a backup member so he should watch how they fight. Tatsumi notices Suryu is part of the group. It takes him a while to control his anger, and when he thinks of how to escape, Esdeath blushes and holds his hand. Suryu attacks first. Her hands has been replaced with weapons like drills and guns. She uses these to kill the bandit. Stylish, who was the one that made these body modifications, boasts asking the others if they like his work. He explains that his relic, the Hand of God, perfector that increases his speed and precision over 100 times. Kurome kills some of the bandits with her sword. She says she will put them back together when they are done fighting. Wave kills a bandit trying to shoot her from the back. He then tells her she do not need to thank him as they are working together, but she says she knew the man was behind her. Balls uses his relic, the Purgatorial Invitation, Rubicante, that works like a flamethrower to burn the bandits. Run uses his winged relic, the 1,000-mile flight, Mastema, to kill the other bandits trying to run away. Tatsumi watches as the Jaegers fight. After the battle, Esdeath tells him that she will train him to fight like that too. He tells her she is surprisingly kind and she confesses that the feelings of love are new to her, but it feels good. Tatsumi wonders if he can convince her to join the Revolutionary Army. He knows she has done a lot of evil deeds, but he feels she can devote herself to overthrowing the Empire as penance. He decides to tell her his thoughts that night. Esdeath is having a shower, preparing to sleep. Tatsumi sits on the bed and tries to compose himself to tell her to join them, but when she comes out of the bathroom, he becomes nervous, making her smile. After a while, Tatsumi finally summons courage and asks her if she truly likes him. To his shock, she kisses him and says she will not be doing that if she does not like him. He then says he has some things to tell her. Tatsumi starts by saying he hates the Empire as it is, and if he is to fight, he does not want to fight for it. He says he is thinking of joining the Revolutionary Army and asks her if she will join with him as they can reduce the bloodshed together. Esdeath slaps Tatsumi, asking how could he say that to an Imperial general. He tells her he knows that is an unreasonable thing to ask, but he do not want them to end up as enemies. She then tells him he do not need to worry about that as he will always be by her side. She tells him she will always protect him so he does not have to worry about anything. He tells her that is not enough as he wants a nation that is free, but that cannot happen with the corrupt capital as its core. Esdeath says she don't understand him as she do not understand the weak. She tells him that the world is ruled by one law, which is the survival of the fittest. Tatsumi angrily says he cannot love someone who is that mean and she will have to change her principles if she truly love him. Esdeath reasons that Tatsumi is cute even when he is angry, but she tells him she cannot change for him, but rather, he will be the one to take after her. He tells her not to expect him to change just because she wants him to. Esdeath calms herself and tells him they should sleep as they have been stressed going on the mission. Tatsumi walks towards the couch to sleep, but she drags him back to the bed, promising to do nothing. He tells her he wants shower, and she warns him that if he tries to escape from the palace, he will be killed. The next morning, Tatsumi looks tired and his eyes are bulging. He tells Wave that he could not sleep well beside Esdeath, who keeps hugging him in her sleep. Tatsumi looks at Kurome and feels a sense of deja vu as she looks and acts like Akane. He asks her if she is related to Akame as she is on the wanted poster around the capital. Kurome says they are related and they belong to the same society before Akame betrayed the Empire. She then says she hopes to see her one day and kill her as Akame is her older sister. Esdeath arrives and tells Tatsumi they will be traveling to Mount Fake. She says they will be going with Wave and Kurome. She says Wave and Tatsumi will scout the west area during the day while she and Kurome scouts the east side. They will then change sides at night and she will be going with Tatsumi. At Mount Fake, Wave tells Tatsumi he can be free with him as he feels they have a lot of similarities. They are talking. They get attacked by some danger beast and Tatsumi reasons that he should use the opportunity to escape. After killing the beasts, Wave notices that Tatsumi is no longer with him. Meanwhile, Tatsumi is wearing the Incursio armor and running far away from Wave. Wave realizes that Tatsumi has escaped. He then calls on his relic, Grand Chariot, which is also an armor relic like Incursio. As he is searching for Tatsumi, Wave sees him wearing the Incursio armor and attacks. Wave has no idea that it is Tatsumi who is wearing the armor. He only attacked because he knows that the wielder of the relic works at night raid. Tatsumi tries to run away as he do not want Esdeath to catch up with him, but Wave keeps stopping him. He kicks him into a river and Tatsumi uses Incursio invisibility ability to escape, but he is too weak. A danger beast is about to attack him, but Akame arrives and kills it. She and Lubbock then carry him away after explaining that they have been watching him for a while. Back at the palace, Wave is being punished by Kurome for allowing Tatsumi escape and not killing a night raid. Esdeath tells him his body is strong but his mind is weak. She then says the next time he makes mistakes, she will punish him herself. Run asks Esdeath what they should do if Tatsumi resurfaces as their enemy. She says she is still in love with him, but the lives of her subordinates comes first. She tells them to bring him to her alive if possible. Tatsumi tells the others what he has learned about the Jaegers. Akame seems surprised that her sister is among the group and he asks her why she did not leave the Empire with her sister. Akame explains that Kurome believes she is a traitor and she was unable to convince her. Meanwhile, Stylish is using his enhanced soldiers to track Tatsumi. He says he has always been suspicious of him as he adapted too quickly. After following his track for some time, they find out the night raid hideout. Leon wakes during the night feeling drowsy. She remembers they all drank a lot last night to celebrate Tatsumi's return. She steps outside still feeling sleepy, and as she beds by the pool side, one of Stylish enhanced soldiers knocks her unconscious. He thinks she is dead and says he will be continuing the mission. Another one of Stylish soldiers, whose ears have been enhanced, gives him this information and he sends his troop into the night raid hideout. Lubbock is aware that there are intruders inside the hideout and he runs to tell the others, but he is attacked by one of the soldiers. He uses his relic to tie the man and strangle him, but the man is able to turn his neck and he attacks Lubbock again. Lubbock then manipulates the rope. He turns it into a spear and kills the man with it. The troops get to Lubbock and he runs away as he knows he cannot kill them all alone. Akame arrives and kills them with her sword. Another enhanced soldier arrives. He introduces himself as Toby and requests a duel with Akame. Akame notices that Toby is powerful and he feels different from the others, more like a machine. Lubbock tries to support Akame, but some soldiers arrive and he has to fight them first. Tatsumi steps outside in his Incursio armor and kills the intruders. Soon another enhanced soldier stands in his way. He introduces himself as Kakusen and says Tatsumi is up against him. Kakusen is carrying Shield's relic. This makes Tatsumi angry and he attacks, but he is careless and Kakusen easily injures him. The soldier with enhanced ears tells Stylish how the fight is going. She says they have lost a lot of the foot soldiers, but the enhanced soldiers are doing well. He tells her he has a lot of foot soldiers and that is not a problem. Mine arrives as Kakusen is taunting Tatsumi. She tells him to face her. He makes fun of her, thinking her relic is not strong enough to injure him. He then tries to attack her and she shoots him with her relic, which kills him. Stylish is given the information that Kakusen is dead, but before he can take any action, they feel something coming up. They look up to see a danger beast, an air mantra, and someone is on it. It turns out to be Negenda and two new members. Stylish become happy, saying he will use them all as his guinea pig. Meanwhile, Akame is still fighting Toby. She cuts off one of his arms, saying if she cannot kill him at once, she will have to kill him bit by bit. Toby grows a sword where his arm was and tries to attack her, but she cuts off his second arm. He grows a gun there and shoots her, but she dodges and cuts one of his legs. As he is about to attack her again, Lubbock uses the spear to stab him from behind. He calls Lubbock a coward for attacking him from the back, but Lubbock says his comrades and hideout are under attack, so he will use any method available to him to kill the enemy. Toby admits that he is already as good as dead at Akame's hand. He asks her how he was inferior to her and she says he was certainly vicious, but he was careless. She then cuts off his head. Tatsumi and Mine looks at the air mantra, wondering if it is enemy reinforcement. Mine takes a closer look with her sniper glass and sees that it is Negenda. They become relieved and talk about how cool her entrance is, but unknown to them, the intruder that knocked Leon unconscious is behind and about to stab Mine. Leon, who is now awake, stops him and starts strangling him. She is so angry that he knocked her unconscious. She continues strangling him, and when he tries to stab her with a knife in his leg, she slams him to the ground, killing him. Akane and Lubbock meet them outside and they are soon surrounded by another troop of foot soldiers. But as they are about to attack, the night raid all fall feeling paralyzed except Tatsumi, who is wearing the Incursio armor. Stylish laughs from where he is looking at them. He says he used his stylishly prepared paralyzing poison on them. Negenda tells one of the new members, Susanoo, to kill the soldiers surrounding the night raid. He kills them easily and Stylish presses a button that makes the soldiers detonate like bombs. Everyone thinks Susanoo is dead, but he heals and every regrows his body parts that exploded. Stylish then realizes that Susanoo is a humanoid relic. Neigenda finds out where Stylish is hiding and tells Susanoo to eliminate him. He tries to run away, but Susanoo stops them. His subordinates say they will protect him, but Stylish knows they do not have the skill to do that. He then brings out a vial of Danger Beast extracts that makes him become a Danger Beast himself. He then eats up his subordinates to increase his strength. Susanoo tries to attack him, but he easily dodges. Tatsumi wants to help Susanoo, and Akame tells him to take her with him as she is still weak from the poison. Tatsumi carries her on his back and flies towards Stylish, but her sword does not break his skin. Mine shoots at him and he falls. Susanoo also helps to hold him down, and Akame is finally able to strike him and kill him. The Night Raid are now at a new hideout. Nainenda explains that the place is mostly inhabited by danger beasts, so that is the perfect place for them to hide. She then introduces the new member. Chelsea approaches Akame and gives her a treat, saying they should get along as fellow assassins. Akame, who is already hungry, accepts the sweet and welcomes her in. Neigenda then introduces Susanoo, calling him the lightning speed warrior. She says he is easy to control as he is an autonomous living relic. Tatsumi approaches him to shake hands with him, but Susanoo notices his shirt is showing his sweater and quickly helps him to adjust it. Neigenda then explains that Susanoo is a neat freak. Leon asks if there is any other thing he is good at. Neigenda tells him to show them his skills, and within a very short time, Susanoo cuts down trees, builds a house, and prepares a meal for everyone. Mine and Lubbock do not approve of the new members, and they do not hesitate to express their feelings. The Jaegers tell Esdeath they searched Stylish residence, but they were unable to find any clue about his disappearance or hint about his whereabouts, but his important experimental materials and equipment were left in the lab. This makes her conclude he did not run away but was killed. Suryu sits in the garden with Koro, cleaning her weapon when Esdeath arrives and asks her how she is coping without Stylish, but she says she is fine as there is plenty of equipment left in his lab. Suryu suddenly remembers how Stylish has always been caring to her. She starts crying, saying her parents, teacher, and benefactor has been lost to the Night Raid. She says she can't stand it and she wants to wipe them out as soon as possible. Esdeath hugs her and tells her she will help her realize that wish if she sticks with her. Suryu thanks her and says she will dedicate her strength and life to her. Wave tells Kurom he knows just the thing to cheer Suryu up. She says she doesn't think he has much chance, but he says he mum always tell him that if he see a girl looking unhappy, he should be a man and help her. But as he gets to the garden, he is surprised to see Suryu and Esdeath embrace. The Night Raid sit together to talk about how the Empire is steadily strengthening its forces. Akame says they also need to become stronger as they lack power, and since the day of revolution is coming near, they will need all the time they have to train. Neigenda also says she do not think they will be able to get any more reinforcement. The next day, Susanoo and Akame go fishing and he catches a very big fish. He prepares a meal with it and Leon praises him for being a good cook. Tatsumi says he is surprised the Revolutionary Army was willing to let such a useful relic go. Neigenda explains that Susanoo has been dormant before, but he started up again when she got near. Susanoo says she looks just like his old master, who was an exemplary general. Leon and Tatsumi makes fun of Neigenda that Susanoo says she looks like a guy and she punches them. Meanwhile, Mine and Lubbock sit separately, annoyed that the others are now friendly with Susanoo. A baby Marg Panther enters the room and rubs itself on Mine, but she refuses to share her cake with it. It looks at her with adorable eyes and she relents, but it snatched the plate from her and runs away. The panther turns to Chelsea, who makes fun of Mine, saying she is too trusting as she eats the cake. She continues to make fun of Mine, which makes her more annoyed. Leon and Tatsumi find themselves confronted by a horde of dangerous beasts. As they fight, Tatsumi employs Incursio's Noontoter, catching Leon off guard with his resemblance to Bulat. Sensing the beasts calling for reinforcements, Leon takes charge and targets their leader. With keen observation, she locates and eliminates it. Neigenda commends their newfound strength, prompting Chelsea, who has been with them for a month, to remark that while they are formidable, survival demands more than mere strength. Reflecting on past losses like Shiel and Bulat, Chelsea warns that without toughening up, they won't endure for long. Later at night, Mine calls for a meeting with Tatsumi and Lubbock. She asks them if they are just going to let what Chelsea said about Bulat and Shiel slide. She says they need to teach her a lesson. She brings up a weird plan, but the others seem reluctant. She leaves them to come up with a plan as she goes into the house. Lubbock tells Tatsumi it is almost time for Chelsea bath, so he should sneak in with Incursio invisibility ability and shove a bucket over her head. Tatsumi seems reluctant, but Lubbock convinces him to do it. As Tatsumi walks towards Chelsea, Susanoo stands from the pool, which shocks Tatsumi. Susanoo tells him to show himself and he removes the invisibility ability. He asks how he knows he is there, and he explains that Incursio only makes it wielder invisible, but it does not conceal their presence. Tatsumi feels bad, but Susanoo turns to Chelsea. She laughs, saying she felt him sneaking up on her, so she decided to turn the tables on him. He apologizes profusely and she tells him if he tries it next time, she will chop it off. I think I knows what she wants to chop off. As Death and Run stroll through the capital when he notices her scanning the surroundings. Concerned, he asks what's on her mind. She admits that whenever she's in a crowd, she instinctively looks for Tatsumi. Run suggests introducing her to soldiers resembling Tatsumi, but she declines, emphasizing that no one can replace him. Run apologizes and resolves to watch over her closely. He better take that duty seriously.